journée, fin de journée.
Merci.
À bientôt.
Et au revoir.
Au revoir.
Okay. I'm going to talk about Tarani, which is a range of wine from the southwest of France. And the southwest is this part of France between Bordeaux and the Languedoc that nobody talks about, nobody visits, because it doesn't belong to any. And yet, it's full of indigenous grape varieties, it's full of great produce that needs to be rediscovered. We work with Vinovalie, which is a union of 4 co-op there, based near Toulouse and Cahors. Tarani, interestingly enough, could be described as the oldest wine brand in the world, because in that part of the world, in Toulouse, they find some amphora dating 100 BC with the Tarani logo on it, and that's what we produced. If you look here on the back label, this is the cartouche they had on the amphora, and that's why they reuse this label. What we try to do is use from a very traditional region modern winemaking techniques to make wine which are adapted to the market of today. On the other hand, the rosé is made by Negrette grape variety. The Negrette is only available in that part of the world in Fronton near Toulouse. That's grown only in there, and it's extremely good for rosé wine. And this one, I think, is my favorite grape for rosé. Malbec is a traditional grape variety of Cahors. The problem with Malbec in the past, that used to be a grape a bit rustic, a bit green, a bit full of tannin. You had to wait for 10 years for the wine to be ready. And this type of wine, the need for this wine and the like of it disappeared about 10-15 years ago. We reworked the grape variety. It's now ripe, it's now fleshy, it's now soft, it's not very long, it's a touch of wood in it, and that is something which I believe is the future of Malbec. And again, we had a very good reception from our buyers on that. I think it's important to talk about some of the new things that the French do as well. So we went to a region like the Languedoc, and I'm going to show you 2 different wines, 2 new concepts that work well and are well in tune with the market of today. So the first one is a rosé that looks very pale. In fact, it's called Gris-Blanc, grey-white. That's done by Gérard Bertrand in France. This is the wine that in top 100 wine competition the last 3 years has done very well. It's going to have a trophy, despite the fact everybody comments about the color. And as I said, as you can see, it's very pale. Now, it's made from the Grenache Gris, which naturally makes a very pale wine. And the advantage there is in the old days when the technology was not as good and the coal was not available, this wine would oxidize quickly, would be good for a month or 2 and not bad. These years we can keep them going good forever. What you have there is a good essence of what the Languedoc can produce. It's full of sun, it's full of flavors, it's nice and understated, so the taste and the flavor and the colors are similar. They're understated, but they're very powerful, very delicate and very long. This is the wine that all the connoisseurs who tried it here like. Full of flavor, good structure, long, very fresh. It's a lovely wine, and something to show what the South can do. Big success story from the south of France from them. It is Muscat at 10 degrees and it's dry. Typically, Muscat in the south of France is to be sold as a sweet wine. The market for sweet wine is disappearing fast because the consumption, the need for this consumption change or the use of it change. And when you try to make Muscat in a dry way, it always was a grape variety that lacks structure and texture. So the challenge is to try to find this texture, which they worked well with by having less alcohol. But what's interesting about that is dry Muscat used to be a non-existing market for a long time. And then in America in the last 3 years, thanks to the program Desperate Housewives, where they're all doing something called Moscato, the sales have exploded. And Gérard Bertrand sells all his Muscat in America as a dry thing. But we start having an interest in the UK as well. So what you have in there is a very typical, delicate, strong nose of Muscat, which is no different when it's dry than when it's sweet. But when you put it in the mouth, that dry, very fresh end of the palate is very, very good and quite surprising. And they managed to keep that going and have good legs to this product because they used to be notoriously short. So that's a good job there. And it's got the advantage again to have 10 degrees on the alcohol. So I think it goes completely in line with what the market of today wants.